Chairman, thank you very much. Very quickly before I take you through the plans and photographs, so you can just draw your attention to your update paper. There's an additional condition suggested. It's right at the very end of your update, specifically picking up on the comments of the highway officer in your report and dealing with the type of use that's acceptable within the proposed hangars and how the floor area or the map for area can be controlled within those uses. In terms of taking you through the plans and photographs, your site plan on page 49 of the agenda might be helpful as I take you through the photographs. But this is the application site. It's broadly rectangular in shape on the sort of the western side of Hangers East in terms of our location at Daedalus. The application site includes the addition of Spitfire Way, the newly constructed road, and the junction of the Broomway over here in the east or the right hand side of the screen. But it's using that existing road up until this turning head and then extending that into the site where it's proposed to construct a terrace of 6 new hangars. So this is orientated slightly the other way through 90 degrees, so north is off to our left hand side now. You can see the turning head that exists on Spitfire Way, the very western end of Spitfire Way here at the top of the screen, and it's proposed to extend that across the old taxiway, which is this strip running left to right on the screen with the small dots at the end, across the grass, and then towards the existing second runway, which is down here to the west or the bottom of the screen. So between the taxiway and the runway is your proposed application site, essentially. Extending Spitfire Way with an additional service road running north to south, then the terrace of 6 new hangars with parking to their east, some grass areas as well, just to soften them slightly, service entrances, pedestrian entrances, there's some fenestration you'll see in the elevation treatment in a minute, and then larger doors that are appropriate for airside access coming out to the west. Just moving in very much sort of some thumbnail of 2 of the hangars, showing that service entrance and pedestrian entrance on the eastern side, and then the understanding is there'll be some small facilities inside, maybe toilet facilities, refreshment facilities, but other than that it's a large open space to provide for what it says in the tin essentially as a hangar and access airside. There's a sort of the speckled colouring here is a slight extension, more hard surfacing, extension of the hard surfacing linking up to the former second runway, which is the hatch bit at the bottom of the screen. So getting a feel for its architecture, sort of a common architectural language in terms of the barrel roof between each hangar. This is the east side, so this is what you'll see as you approach from Broomway. And you can see that there's a service door, pedestrian door. I mentioned some fenestration previously at low level. Changes in colour as you go from the south to the north, getting slightly darker, but the grades provide some continuity in that architectural language. And then on the western side, airside, you've got these larger hangar doors which will open in part to allow for the aircraft inside access to the second runway, which is being used now as a taxiway out to the main runway. Just looking at the eastern and the northern and the southern ends, so starting on the south, it's a slightly lighter grey, and then that transitional greys through to the darker one on the north side. And then put them in their hole so you get a feel for how they're going to look. So this will be the approach at the top of the screen when you're coming from Broomway, coming into the site, heading westwards towards the hangars. And then airside is the elevational treatment at the bottom. So taking you through the photographs, this is taken from Spitfire Way, looking westwards. So I've come in, for those of you that may have been down to the site, you come in past the development on the right hand side, which is for UTP, Universal Tools. It's a property, a plot known as plot 5 and 6, which is under construction as well. And you're heading down, land's falling slightly, I think you can appreciate that from the photographs, towards the turning head, and it's off this turning head, pretty much straight ahead of us, is where the extension is going to be. As a point of reference, you can see the MCA building over here, hand side, and Gosport Road is running off to the right hand side, and some of the houses you can see here are those over in Stubbington. So sitting almost centrally in the photograph, really, are where the proposed hangars are going to sit. So this is moving a little bit closer. Again, the access coming off the turning head here, you get a feel for that older taxiway that I mentioned at the start when I was taking through the plans. You can just about see, and you'll probably see clear in a minute, this Harris star fencing is replicated in the middle ground of the photograph, and the sun's just catching it here. This is the security fencing at the moment that sits along the edge of that second runway. So the proposed hangars will sit between this Harris fencing and that Harris fencing in the distance. This is coming into the site itself, sort of looking southwards at the moment, back towards some of the existing hangars, and these are the new properties that have been built down in Gosport, in the borough of Gosport. The large grey building, you can just about see in the distance here, with its box just behind the fence, is that the Innovation Centre as your reference point. And then I'm hoping you're just going to pan round from the south, westwards and northwards so you get a feel for the application site. So the road extension off left to right, across the taxiway towards the fence here, which sits adjacent to the second runway, so almost in the grass area, is where you'll start to see the hangars appear. And this is turning round, again looking westwards now, over towards Stubbington and Hill Head. Gosport Road appearing over on the right hand side, so the hangar sitting centrally in the photograph. And then turning around, looking almost north-westwards now, up towards Gosport Road running in the north. This photograph is taken from the end of the other part of the road. So if I go all the way back, just as a reference point, you see you've got Spitfire Way, and then the other road is Balkan Way. I'm taken from the turning edge, just looking back in a southwesterly direction. So the hangars will sit pretty much centrally in that photograph. Again, you get the reference point, you can see the Innovation Centre in this photograph, and the MCA building over to the right hand side. I have nothing else, Chairman, unless there are any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. No, I was really going to say that we're fully support for this recommendation. I think it fits very much in line with our strategy for Daedalus, the vision and outline strategy we have as well. And it also, I think, is mentioned in the report, fulfils the strategic aims of policy CS12. So to my mind, I think it's a very welcome application to the site. Certainly in terms of the hangars, where they look, etc. They look very modern in comparison to the ones that are currently there at the present moment. But no, I think it's an ideal application. I'm very happy to go along with it.
Yeah, this is a better location than the previous one, I think. It's very close to some Stubbington residential properties. I was a bit concerned at the top of page 44. I've asked the question. The two existing aircraft runways at the site shall be retained at all times. Shall not be received or built on as first as the agreement in writing will indicate. That policy was superseded by the vision. And it says in there, the second runway, 1735, will no longer be operational, but be retained and provide good quality, outstanding for aircraft. We've got some of the outstanding on the inside. Thanks. So it's in accordance with our policy.
Right, so, proposer and seconder. Proposed by Councillor Calvin, seconded by Councillor Pratt. Those in favour, please show. That's unanimous.